wood. Wood is such a blessing for humanity.
What the f*** is David Lynch doing? He's just sitting on the
just
corner of
chilling,
La
fucking
Brea
talking
in
to
Hollywood with a fucking cow.
Of Diary of Doom. I'm Dylan, as always, and today we will be discussing the band REZN from Chicago, Illinois, who was previously featured on the main Diary of Doom podcast back in chapter 57. And joining me for this chat is returning guest Ivana DeCaro, who was featured back in chapters 4 and 36, and also made an appearance on my now defunct pandemic podcast, Defenders of the Cake. So welcome back. It's been quite a while since you've been on the podcast.
Hey, yeah, it's been a couple of years.
And yeah, like what's new with you?
Honestly, I haven't really been doing too much aside from playing a shitload of Witcher 3 and watching JoJo's Bizarre. That's been my entire life in sweet isolation.
Dude, people like, you know, before we like get into the discussion on like REZN, like people go really fucking hard for The Witcher. Like it's like, and not just like The Witcher 3. Like people seem to love that Netflix show too, with fucking Superman and his CGI mustache.
Ooh, Henry. Well, they just go very extensive in their lore, and they kind of like mix different lore together, and I think that's why it makes it so interesting. Playing the game, it's just, I mean, open world to a whole new level. I played Breath of the Wild 3 when
Wait, there's
COVID
a third
first
Breath of the
hit.
Wild?
Oh shit!
I was like, wait a minute, the second one didn't even come
Why
out.
did I say 3? I was mixing Witcher 3 and Breath of the Wild. No, the first one. I'm still waiting for the goddamn second one. No, when I was playing Breath of the Wild, it was the first like open world game I'd played. I got into video games like during the pandemic, and The Witcher is just like 5 times as big. It's insane. There's so much detail that goes into everything, so it's probably even better than the show. I hate to say it, and I love the show.
I mean, I have no opinions on it. I haven't played any of them, but I too also got back into video games during the pandemic and was playing Skyrim for a very long time. And I got very far in it, and then the game stopped working. So I threw it against the wall and I played Breath of the Wild instead.
I cannot imagine. Do you know how many hours you put into it?
Man, a lot. Like, and it's not like I'm one of those intense Skyrim players or, you know, Elder Scrolls fans where they're like, oh, I'm on like my 12th, you know, or fucking 20th playthrough of it. And I'm doing it as, you know, just I'm really bad with magic, but I'm only doing it as a wizard, but I'm making sure it's a fighting class or fighting bonus class so that it's like even more difficult, but I'm going to do everything on the good sides. And like, I'm not one of those players of it. But I think I started playing it in like the first few months of the pandemic, or maybe I don't remember, honestly. I might just be talking bullshit, but I know I was playing it during 2020 and I played a lot of it during 2021, and then it just stopped working pretty late in the game, and I just got really, and I was just like, I tried resetting, I tried respawning, I tried doing all this other bullshit, and it just didn't fucking work. And I was just like, I had cleared so much shit, and then I just was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me? So I was told to play Breath of the Wild, and that game works, and it's also great. And I did beat it. I beat it on the last day of the year. It was awesome.
Oh, really? Of 2020?
No, of 2021.
Oh, hell yeah. I started playing that, I think, maybe like early 2021. I followed the trend of buying a Switch and playing Animal Crossing during the
I played
beginning
that
of
too.
yeah, so I could follow
I
all the
kind of lost
memes.
interest in that one.
Oh, dude, my poor villagers. They're starved. I think I have over like 300 or 400 hours, like playing hours on that. It's pretty insane. And I just dropped them like they were like Nintendo DS dogs. You remember that game?
Oh, that was the game where like the dog would come up and you have to like pet it, and then they put it in Super Smash Brothers, and it just obstructs the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I
I
forgot what
never
it's
had it.
called.
I think it's called it's Nintendogs.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah. It was I had like a DS and a Game Boy and I would play those games, but Breath of the Wild is so good. It's unexplainably good. Hopefully Breath of the Wild 2 comes out sooner rather than later in the year.
It was funny. I posted a some picture of it like online, and this dude I know in Australia was just like, and you know, I assume this is what his accent sounds like. He just was like, "Wait a minute, is that the game where your swords break?" And I was like, "Yeah, that is kind of an annoying part of it." And he's just like, "That game is fucking horseshit." Like he was just like all up in arms about it, and I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "All right, look, it's a good game, but you know, I'll stop with the bad Crocodile Dundee accent." But yeah, it was really funny. Like that is something that I do think is bizarre in the game, but also I kind of get it. It's like
I mean,
it's like the equivalent of having like a shooter. Your guns run out of ammo. Otherwise, you would have
yeah.
been like very OP.
Plus, you do have the Master Sword eventually, and I mean, there's ways that you can cheat to get it earlier, which is exactly what I did. uh, but even with that, it sucks that it doesn't really go too high in stats once you get it. I know that was a huge like controversial thing of Breath of the Wild, but I didn't mind it. There's enough in the game that you can find if you're so desperate for a sword that, you'll probably be okay. Where with Witcher 3, it's as you use the sword and it starts to wear, the stats actually go down as the,
Mm-hmm.
as you damage your weapon. So it would be cool if Breath of the Wild did something similar to that, because I wonder if they're gonna keep that in the next game, because it pissed off a lot of fucking
I
people.
don't know. And I didn't really care because I'm not like that hardcore of a fan. So I was like, you know, I didn't really have any problem with some of the other mechanics. Like I've only played like one other Legend of Zelda game. Like I never played any of this shit for the Nintendo back in the day because I don't know why. And I had an N64. I guess I just felt like the games were too complex or something. I don't know. I was
I
stupid.
guess for back then. I mean, for back then they were.
And they're hard. From
Yeah,
what I
I
can
mean,
tell,
some
I've
of
watched
them.
playthroughs of them.
Which other one did you play?
Link's Awakening for the Game Boy.
Okay, I know there's a remake on the
Yes.
Switch for that. That's one of the few Zelda games that I haven't played.
Well, I
Um,
like the original one a lot. It was a very good Game Boy game.
I kind of want to snag some old consoles and try to play those games. Would be really cool.
Just broke out the PS2.
Oh, hell
Still
yeah.
still works.
Yeah, we have one here too. But I forgot what game it was. I think it was like GTA. GTA 3 maybe? Is that one of the popular ones?
Yeah, that was I believe that was the first one that was released on the PlayStation 2, and I remember playing the shit out of that game.
Dude, it would go to the main menu and just glitch the fuck out. It's so disappointing when that happens.
Oh, that's a
Uh,
bummer.
yeah. Probably gonna have to get a whole new console. I miss PS2 games. I have a PS3 actually that's in pretty good condition, and it's the one with the you can play. I think you can play PS2 games on that. Am I wrong?
Backwards compatible.
Like, yeah, I think so. So maybe I'll use that.
Actually, no. There was something else. You did you join the Church of Satan or the Satanic Temple or whatever it's called?
The Satanic Temple, yeah.
Can we wait? Can we even talk about this?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was a sensitive topic or not.
No, I can definitely tell you that my Roman Catholic family does not approve.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Like straight off the boat from Italy, very disappointed. um, but yeah, I did join the
How could you
Satanic
do
Temple.
this? You're making your nonna so sad.
Yeah, basically.
We just watched House of Gucci, so like just the weirdest Italian accents I've ever heard in my life. But
You know,
yeah, I enjoyed what I saw of it.
I heard that the acting in that was pretty bad.
So like Al Pacino and Lady Gaga are awesome in it because they're just, it's ridiculous. And Jared Leto is basically doing that Family Guy bit where Peter walks into the Italian like meat shop with a mustache and he's like, bibbidi bobby. Like he's basically doing that for the whole movie.
Is he supposed to be the comic relief or something?
I guess he plays like a brother or a cousin that they just do not like, and he's trying to get like the Gucci trademark, and he's got like all this like prosthetics on and whatnot, and he's just like, it's me, Jared. You see me, I play the Joker, but now I'm a sad Italian man.
So he's Mario.
Yeah, he's like, it's weird because I'm like, he's like doing like well, but like I guess acting wise, but the accent just feels very like, hey, I sound kind of like Roberto Benigni.
Yeah, I that's a better way of saying it. Not that the acting was terrible, but the accents were very like out of whack, and people would fall in and out of their accents throughout the whole movie. So maybe
Yeah.
it's worth making a drinking game out of it.
It was very entertaining when Lady Gaga and Al Pacino and Jeremy Irons were on screen. And it was kind of bland when the rest of them were just like doing whatever. And Adam Driver's just like, oh, yes, I sound like a Dracula and I'm very tall. Like, yo, dude, he like towers over Lady Gaga. It's really funny. But I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it overall. Like, again, from what I saw of it, I thought it was pretty entertaining.
Isn't the movie like 3 fucking hours long?
It definitely did not need to be 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I mean, the new Spider-Man was like 2.5 hours long. I'll accept that. I don't know about a Gucci movie, but
I have not seen that yet.
very good. I don't know if you're into, Marvel characters and stuff, but it was a really good movie.
I mean, I am, but I'm definitely not rushing out to see anything. Honestly, the thing I want to see the most right now is Jackass 4.
Is that coming out this Friday or did it come out past Friday?
I believe as of this recording, we're recording this at the beginning of February. I believe it just came out on like the 4th, because I've been seeing a bunch of people like at premieres, and the cast members have been showing up, and I'm like, man, these guys like are really putting in the effort and showing up, and it's not like people are expecting it. They just started showing up and everything. Like Johnny Knoxville was in New York the other day. It seems really cool. Like I really want to see it, although I'm not going out to the theater to see it. I'll wait till it just goes on streaming or other means of watching films. And I'm saying that because it's 2022. Let's get real.
Yes, I'm sure there's already availability. I've been going to drive-in theaters throughout the pandemic, so that's been really fun, turning on your radio and stuff, and just watching the movie from inside your car and get a shitload of snacks.
I don't think we have. Actually, no, there is one in Greenpoint, but I don't have a car, so it kind of defeats the purpose.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you'd want to sit outside in like 10-degree weather. But also, they're probably not premiering Jackass, let's be real. Like most of these places are family friendly. They're not
I
going to want to premiere
mean,
that.
yeah, I don't think you can put up videos of like naked men like just getting like bricks thrown at their penises, you know?
Yeah, just like 40 feet balls.
It's like, mommy, look, there's a big bald man on there. They're like, what? And it's just like a giant set of fucking balls getting like hit with a bat or something. Like, and by bat, I mean it could literally be like the animal or a baseball bat.
What's funny too is like, if you have to like run to the restroom and you walk outside while the movie is playing, you hear it across the entire field. So you just hear like nut taps and like screaming from across the entire parking lot.
I'm John in Knoxville. We just covered Steve-O's balls and honey, and we got a bunch of fruit bats. Come lick them, and welcome to Jackass.
People on the highway are like, "What?"
Just like a bunch of accidents happen due to Steve-O's 40-foot balls on a movie theater screen.
Well, now I gotta watch it.
Just to see if that's actually going to be in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be. I saw Steve-O's special too. Maybe it was from only a few years ago, but he does like tricks within his stand-up too. He's trying
Oh,
to prove how
he did go to
fucking
clown
crazy he is.
school.
Yeah, it's actually quite entertaining. And he also has a pretty successful podcast now, so
Like after Jackass ended, I was always a way big. I mean, I watched both shows, but excuse me, I was always a way bigger fan of Wild Boys than Viva La Bam because like Wild Boys just felt like Jackass again. I mean, they wound up bringing Knoxville back onto it. Wee Man was on a bunch of episodes. They had like the Jackass like directors and producers and cameramen. And then Viva La Bam, I was like, this is funny, but also it's so fake.
I think because I was a teenage girl when Viva La Bam came out and I had a crush on Bam Margera, it made me a little biased. But looking back at it, it was just him making fun of his uncle being fat and making and doing pranks on his friends and his like mom. So it wasn't really that out of the box, I guess, in comparison to Wild Boys and Jackass.
I think it was, and then obviously like Bam went down a dark path, but like I remember watching Jackass 2 with the commentary, and he's not on the commentary for whatever reason, and they just make fun of him the whole time.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was like that back then, but now he's definitely outcasted from the group. It seems like, as a fan that they tried to help him and he's, struggling a little too hard for them to be able to help. So it's kind of a sad situation, but he's also exacerbating it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's doing like the opposite of Steve-O, who like everyone was like, man, Steve-O's just gonna die.
yeah, and then he definitely embarrassed himself. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out of that or if maybe it'll give him motivation to actually get better because they did it without him.
Yep. I still like one of my favorite bits from the Jackass things is from the end of the first movie when Steve-O is just like they're driving around in a van. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. He's drinking a Corona and he's like, like my dad and family know I do this shit. And I tell him some of the things he does, and he's just like kind of rolls his eyes, but he's kind of whatever about it. And then I told him about this stunt, which was putting a little like a little matchbox car in a condom and then shoving it up their ass. He just was like, he couldn't get that. He couldn't process that one. And he just was like very upset with me. And I said, Dad, are you like mad? Or are you like, what is that's crossing the line? He's like, yeah. He's like, are you mad at me? He goes, no, but I am incredibly disappointed. So basically, like, Steve-O felt so bad about that he opted out, and that's why Ryan Dunn was the guy who wound up putting a little Matchbox car in a condom up his butt.
Wow, I did not know that.
It very, like, oh my god, that fuck killed me. And I remember watching that with my dad too, and they go to a doctor, and the doctor's like this Spanish guy, and they subtitled like what he's saying on the phone, but my dad was actually like listening to what he was saying, and he was like pissing himself laughing because my dad's El Salvadorian, so he speaks Spanish fluently, and he just like pissing himself laughing where he's like, yo, the doctor. He's saying some shit that they're not actually like subtitling. It was really funny.
It was probably more vulgar.
He's like, you have a little car in your ass. He's like, well, I don't know how that got there. Do you? He's like, I don't know. Oh boy, yeah, gotta see Jackass 4. But yeah, anyway, REZN is a band.
REZN, they play strings. There's a lot of strings involved, and smashing things to make sounds.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, what happened? There was like a little glitch. I don't know what happened.
Oh, I don't know. It seems like it went silent for a second.
Oh, it probably did. I don't know what you said.
Oh, I was like, yeah, they pull strings and like bash things to make sounds.
No, we'll just get to the actual like discussion of the band REZN. Who, like, you know, like I said, I've spoken to them before. These guys are like pretty fucking rad. How did you discover them? I think I discovered them through you, actually. Like, I just saw you were listening to them one day, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check that band out. I like their name.
I told everyone about them. Any of my friends that didn't know them, I was like, you better fucking listen to them right now. They're so good. I think I discovered them through Spotify, actually. It was just kind of like on some Doom radio, and I heard their song either Wake or Relax. I know it was from the Let It Burn album. That was the first album I had listened to. I want to say it was like around quarantine time. So, I had the time to sit and really listen to all their stuff. And I was just blown away. I became a huge fan immediately, and they do seem like cool dudes. I unfortunately missed them because they did tour. I think they did a mini tour over in this area in November or December. Did they come to New York?
No, they did not come to New York. They went to Philly.
Okay, I think they also came to Massachusetts because I feel like I saw people posting about it, but I'm disappointed because I still have not seen them live.
Yeah, I haven't seen them live either. And actually, another band that was on the podcast, Grey Host, I was just messaging their drummer Bobby because we chat quite a bit, and they were actually opening for them at their show. And I was like, you tell those motherfuckers I said hello.
Yeah. I actually reached out to them right before the pandemic hit, and I was trying to plan something like a show for the spring. Obviously that didn't happen, but I was like, listen, I don't know exactly where you are, but just tell me what would I need to do to get you to show up on the East Coast. And I think they may have been doing a tour in a different area around that time. Well, that's what they said, and then everything crashed and burned. But not to sound like a broken record. Yeah, it obviously didn't end up working out, but I'm determined to try to get them to come back over here. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah, I don't know, but I hope they are able to like do something here in New York. They'd be like perfect. I mean, I know like most of the lineup is out right now, but like I think they'd be perfect at Desert Fest. I'm like, oh man, this band would be fucking sick at this festival. That's something I like about them is that, like, yeah, they're pretty like firmly in this genre of music, but I really feel like, and I told them this on the episode, that I feel like they could play like they could play like a fucking hippie festival if they wanted to, you know, like if they wanted to play like some fucking jam band fest, you know, I think they are kind of trippy and spacey, and they have long enough songs that they could definitely get away with that, because, you know, fucking everybody at those things is on drugs anyway. So
I totally agree. They have this like under underlying jazzy like orchestral component to their music, especially in the newest album. I've noticed that like I think you're right. I think they could fit into a bunch of different subgenres and be able to play um and just have people zone out to their music and stuff because it's interesting. It kind of takes you on a trip.
yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like it's great. It's good pot smoking music, honestly. I mean, like a lot of this stuff obviously is like there's so much like pot imagery and pot references in all this music, and like even their name is kind of a cannabis like pun, but I think it's like a lot better than, you know, fucking take your pick, you know, like fucking electric witch fucking smoking coven hole or whatever.
Which weed mountain sky?
Witchweed Mountain Sky.
Yeah.
I think there's a generator out there. We've like we always joke, we're like, yeah, there should just be one, and it's just like all the same obvious ones. I know there's like there's a meme that has like, you know, it's like the first letter of your first name and this and your last name, and this is your like generic doom metal band name.
Yeah, those ones are pretty good.
But I like theirs. I think it's a good pun.
They're not even that old of a band.
No, they're not.
2017?
Well, they have like 4 albums out, I guess, technically, because one of them's like an ambient one. But like, yeah, all 3 of their records are fucking awesome.
Yeah. I think they I think that Let It Burn album was their first one, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
They've only been a band for like 5 years. I don't know. I think they're still a little more underground, surprisingly. I think there's still like people that don't know who they are, and I just feel like they're gonna blow up a lot more than where they're at right now. They just fit in very perfectly with the Doom community.
Yeah, I agree. I actually, Chaotic Divine was one of my favorite albums from 2020. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that they haven't like gotten like, you know, a bit bigger and like more on the scene, because it's like they kind of are able to hit all those right notes where you have like the heavy riffs and like, you know, the Sabbath groove and everything, but then it just goes into like total like kind of super tramp like almost like like relaxing adult contemporary music, like lounge music, but it or like weird bubbly sort of ambient stuff, and definitely there's the psychedelic aspect of it too. They just hit all the right notes, and you know, they're one of those bands that you could plop in front of a really fucking heavy band or like another psychedelic band, or you could put them on with I don't know, you could probably put them on before. I'm trying to think of a band that is sort of outside of the genre that would make like sense. I don't know, I'll think about this for a second.
I'm trying to think too.
It's hard to think when you're high.
You could even fit them into something with like an underlying reggae feel too, I think. I don't know, they have a groove. They have the droney vibe.
They
Um
could they could
just
open
a
for
little bit of everything.
Alice in Chains. I'm just gonna say it. They totally could.
I could totally see that.
Yeah, people would probably be like, "Man, this band is like really like kind of chill and calm and not like Alice in Chains." And then they'd be like, "Man, this band's like actually really fucking cool and groovy." And it's like then you're like you're not gonna like, you know, blow your wad on the opener, and like they could do that, you know. Like I totally could see them opening up for Alice in Chains just as like a weirdo, like, hey, we need an opener. We're in Chicago. We're getting you because you're like a kind of bigger local band.
Hell yeah. I mean, and they could also headline in this community specifically. I definitely think they're gonna blow up, and I wouldn't be surprised if they show up on one Desert Fest or Maryland Doomfest bill. I don't know if they've played Maryland Doomfest actually, because I've never been, but
I don't think they have. I think it would be cool to see them open for Sleep.
yeah, that'd be a fucking dude. Just smoke as much weed as you ever have in your life at that concert.
But that would be cool because I feel like there's not a lot of they're not just like aping that sound, you know. It feels very like they're very much like separate entities. So it's not like you didn't like just kind of like pair like with like, you know, it's sort of they exist in a nice spot. So there's enough crossover there.
That's a good point. Yeah. Either way, you're probably just gonna be high as fuck the whole time. But
Exactly.
you're just gonna be taking two different rides.
Exactly. So yeah, like you said, they have just 3 records out. Let It Burn's the first one. It came out in 2017. And like I feel like when I found them, I felt like part of me was probably like, man, I'm getting like a little bit tired of this of like the sound, because I feel like a lot of people were just kind of doing the same thing, and I felt like they just did a really good job of taking the sound into the next like step sort of, and just with how much like layering and other kinds of elements they add into it, which wait a minute, I might add, they are a sax band. They are a band that has a saxophone in it. And we talked about that, but like, man, it's like saxophone can be really fucking corny, but or just like really bizarre, but I really dig it here because it definitely just feels like another very comfortable layer in their songs.
I was actually listening to them before we started this,
Yeah, me too.
and it was from their newest album, and it seems like that is very, very sax heavy. And I was looking over and I was like, this song is sexy.
It's like their music gives me like a very like sort of Twin Peaks vibe if you've ever watched it.
Yes. Yes, yeah. I'm a huge fan actually.
Okay, cool.
So
So
I could
like
totally see that. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know why. I just, it feels sexy. Just the saxophone, it's just so groovy. It's not something that you see implemented as heavy as they do in a lot of like doom music and stuff. So they do it right. It's not just here and there. It seems like it's actually what am I trying to say? It seems like it's a solid part of their band, like an integral part of their music.
yeah, like well, when I was talking to them, like Spencer, the keyboard player, he's the guy who plays the saxophone, and they were just like, I think they were just like talking, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we were just like, you know, playing and blah blah blah, and then you know he came, he joined the band, and we're like learning how to work with him with the keys and doing everything and assembling and blah blah, and it's really cool. And then just arbitrarily, like he mentioned, so they're like, you play saxophone? He's like, yeah. And they're like, we gotta put that in the fucking music too.
He just became a huge fucking part, like a game changer. And it sounds different. I think what you were saying before, it's easy to get burnt out, listening to a lot of the same kind of music. And a lot of bands do try to follow the similar footsteps to other bands and stuff, and that leaves a lot of room for growth and creating their own style, of course. But it's nice to hear something that is just already a little bit different. It's just entertaining to listen to, and you have to kind of get to know their music, which I like. When I first listened to Great Divine, right? That's the
Chaotic Divine?
Chaotic Divine. um I feel like it was just a bunch of noise at first. I was like, wow, this is very different. And then it takes me a little while usually, and I'll just kind of start to learn it and get in the feel of it after a few listens. And I like the process of growing with the music instead of, just always hearing it and hearing it for what it is right then and there, if that makes sense.
No, I think that makes sense. Like I think that album is so good too because in the 3 years, I mean, then they had another one in between that, but like in between, like from the time that they started and by the time they put out Chaotic Divine, I was like, damn, these guys have shown like a lot of growth. Like that's a fucking kick-ass album. It's just like sublime and it's chill and you get some doom with some synths and there's like this fucking wicked like very like Geezer Butler type bass line in it, but it's not like every other song after that is just a fucking Sabbath rip off. It is its own beast. It is REZN, man.
It's also very bass heavy too. Like it follows a lot of the the music.
It's got like dub structure.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It just makes it easy to carry along with too.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you don't, you're first listening to it, it's like you can get into the groove of it. And then you kind of like learn new things as you listen to it more times. And that's my favorite kind of music. Even though it's not the same genre, that's like one of the reasons why I love Opeth. It's like, every time I've listened to that album like 5,500 fucking times, and every time I listen to it, you get something different out of it. So it's cool.
Man, I have not spent a lot of time with Opeth in recent times. I have like maybe I should. I don't know. I have nothing against that band really. Like I don't know. People get really like worked up about Opeth, and they're one of those bands where I'm like, I don't have the energy to get worked up about this.
I think their pretentious fans make it seem like it's more overwhelming than it actually is to like get into their music, if it makes sense. Like I've been a fan since I was a teen and stuff, and I don't know, it's just funny to make fun of. Like I think there's like Mikael Akerfeels is the Facebook page, and it's just like just memes of Opeth and stuff, or like I don't know if you follow oh man, it's gonna take me a second. Fuck. It has to do with making fun of prog fans, but like that's like one of my favorite groups.
You want to look it up? I'm gonna run to the bathroom if you want to look it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, BRB.
I went out with a cow and a placard for Laura Dern. And it was, a necessity because I didn't have the money to buy ads in the trades. And it brought awareness.
Did you find the thing?
Oh, so I found the group on Facebook. It's actually called Prog Snob.
Oh, God.
So it's just like, making fun of progressive metal fans. And it's really good. It's dank. Highly recommend.
Dank memes, bro.
Dank.
God, it's fucking freezing. Dank REZN, bro. Yeah, that's how we're bringing it back.
All the weed puns.
I don't remember what we were talking about before in regards to this band, other than they're really fucking just really good. I don't know how much else we can get into. I guess we could go through like favorite songs.
Okay. I would say Iceberg is the top. Relax. I'm just trying to pick one off of each album.
I really liked Pipe Dream off of Let It Burn.
Oh, that's a good one.
Also, their song Resurrection.
I think Garden Green is becoming a favorite of mine off of Chaotic Divine.
That one's dope, and so is Waves of Sand. That's probably like my favorite one off the record.
That was the
I don't
single,
know, that whole
right?
album is so good. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I got Chaotic Divine on vinyl. That was fucking killer.
Dude, yeah, their vinyls look really cool too.
Got a patch. I got to do so much with this band. This band rules.
We're
One of
just
them actually works at a brewery in Chicago too. So like the next time I'm there, I'm like, and I've been at the brewery too. So I wonder if he was like working and I just didn't even know.
Oh yeah, I saw something on their Instagram. It was from like 2020, but it was they did a run on I think it was called Wake.
Yeah,
Like
Wake. They did a beer with Wake Brewing, I think.
yeah.
We fact
Was
checked
it I think they called it REZN, I believe. I was looking at it earlier. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty sick. That'd be cool to
that.
have."
Yeah, it is just called called resin. It was oh yeah, I remember this. Wow, I just got really hungry looking looking at this. Can't wait to eat this beer. It's a Russian Imperial Stout with blackberries, black currant, and chocolate. That sounds really good. Oh, and vanilla. Damn.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
Whew.
I just have to go all the way to Chicago. It's fine. It'll be worth it.
Chicago rules. I've been out there a few times now. It's really fun. It was fucking cold and miserable one time, but I still had a good time. Highly
Yeah, I would
recommend.
love to make my way over there, even just to go to shows and stuff.
I've never seen like a show at any of their concert halls or venues, but I have seen shows at Dark Lord Day, which is not in Chicago. It's in Indiana, but it's like right over the border. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't know. Just check out REZN. They're fucking awesome. Rob, Phil, Patrick, and Spencer are all cool dudes. Hopefully they have something else coming out. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Well, two things actually. I feel like this is also a band that you could put on to like if you're I don't know if your parents were really into like Supertramp, like you could probably put this on and they'd really be into it. Like I kept being like, you guys are kind of like Supertramp with riffs.
Dude, I would have never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right.
Like whenever I think of Supertramp, I always think of what was the movie? Oh, it was Magnolia, that P.T. Anderson movie. And there's I think there's a few Supertramp songs in it, but I always think of that. And then I think of Tame Impala, which I don't know. I guess people really don't like that band, but I like Tame Impala. I think they're pretty good.
I discovered them through TikTok actually. A couple of their songs went viral. They're pretty good. I mean, I think they're more mainstream, which is why people want to
Yeah.
hate them, but I think they're pretty good.
I think I was like, you guys should open up for Tame Impala. I think I told them that.
Dude, I mean, it would work.
Oh yeah, it would totally work. It would totally work.
Just
Because
build up.
everybody would be like taking their fucking drugs to like during the opener, and then it would start going and probably peak by the time they came on.
Yeah, and then it would just be like a little bit higher energy, and you could just like I don't know what I'm trying to say. You could just freak the fuck out on your drugs by the time Tame Impala comes on.
My friend has seen them twice at Radio City, and he did acid both times. And then after one time, I'll never forget him like sending. I think it was like on Snapchat. He sent us. I think he went to the top of the rock, and he was just tripping balls.
I can't even imagine. So on my 18th birthday, I went to go see Bass Nectar, and I kind of got scared out of acid at that show because, first of all, it wasn't anything that I normally listen to, so it was like a completely different crowd and vibe. And it just looked like there were so many people that were fucked up that, like, if you look in the background of my birthday photos, like people just look zombified, like they're gone, like they're not on this planet. And it was for Bass Nectar, and then by the time they came on, like half the people were like dozed off, but standing up with their eyes open. Like, it was wild.
Zonked.
Yeah, totally zonked. So that shit was kind of scary. But, I'm sure it's fun. Have you ever done it?
No, I haven't. I think I'm past the point in my life. Like I think that sort of window has passed. I think my brain is too fucking scrambled now that I would probably not be able to enjoy it. So, but I do want to try mushrooms. Not be I mean, I guess that's like a really kind of it's like oh, they're kind of like of similar walks, but I just there's something about the mushrooms that I feel more comfortable about. Plus there's like microdosing and stuff like that that seems like it's a bit more manageable.
Yeah, I think I've never done any psychedelics myself, but I think I would start off the same way. Even just like, because you can take a little bit and gradually get yourself take a little more, but with acid it seems like, you fucking take it and you're in the car and it's going, bitch. Like you're going for that ride and you don't know where you're gonna be. And I growing up with horror movies and shit, I know that's the first thing I'm gonna think of is the scream mask that scared the shit out of me when I was like 3 years old. And I know it's a weird fear to have, but that's gonna be the first thing that shows up in my head.
I mean, home invasion, assault, reasonable thing to be scared of.
I remember that being the scariest movie that you could have ever showed me, and I'm pretty sure it. When did the parody of it come out?
What, scary movie?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just saw Scream for the first time like last year.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Scary
mean,
movie came out in 2000. Wow.
okay.
It's been 22 years and Scream came out in 96. Yeah, I just saw Scream for the first time yeah, like last year.
Wow. I mean, I would never willingly watch it, but
I thought it was like fine, There was some stuff I liked about it and there was some stuff that I was kind of like that's stupid.
it's weird. That's like one of the few movies that because I was scared of it as a kid, I don't think I have just no desire to like want to watch it, but I'll totally watch other creepy, gory shit. And it doesn't even seem like Scream is that gory to begin with, but
Scream is actually pretty gory, like all things.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, it's all knife violence, so like it's a lot of people getting stabbed and like fucking a lot of just like blood and shit like that. And uh there's like the death where like the girl's in like the garage door and it like kills her that way, which is like insane. And just like fucking Courtney Cox and David Arquette are just ridiculous in it. I mean, my favorite part was when I realized that Dan from Deadwood showed up. If you've ever watched Deadwood, but
No, I haven't.
oh, it's that show rules. But like I thought it was like I totally get why people liked it. I thought it was fine. It's not like in my top tier horror movies by a long stretch. But I did like Matthew Lillard in it. We're gonna be in so much trouble, man. Oh, Scoob.
Oh my god.
Those fucking movies. Jesus.
That's what reminds me that, I grew up in the 2000s. Is like, see, I actually saw a bunch of young YouTubers reacting to 2000s movies. Like that's like their main content on their channel. I can't remember who they who they are.
Whoa, wait till
But
they get to black and white.
dude, they went through the Scooby movies and then they went through like Mall Cop and shit. And I'm like, wow, these were like staple movies
Like Paul
from me
Blart,
growing
Mall
up.
Cop.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Dude, I mean, I watched all of it. I remember Click and
Oh my god, Click.
yeah.
Oh, Jack and Jill.
Oh, the channel is called Razzle apparently. But yeah, you should check it out because they just react to a bunch of movies that like, I've seen a bunch of times just because it was on TV.
So it's funny, like so they're basically doing what like people do on a horror movie podcast where they just like talk about horror movies or whatever it is. They're talking about something, So but they're doing the react thing too. like movies that I grew up knowing were bad, and like definitely have already been covered by a number of people saying like how terrible these movies are. But now they're going back and like really doing like the deep assessment and being like, why are like millennials all fucked up? And it's just like, oh my God, like, because look what the fucking shit that was coming out.
Dude, I mean,
It was
I
a
think they
war
actually
zone back then.
they do I think they do a drinking game with it as well. So then not only are they shit talking it, it progressively gets more funny as they get drunker.
The thing is, I'm not gonna like
We,
disagree with them. Like, I'm not gonna be like, hey, I'm not like gonna be like, hey, I'm not gonna go out there and defend fucking what I don't know, just like what is it like Yumi and Dupree? I'm not gonna go out there and defend that fucking movie. I know it sucks.
I feel like a lot of the 2000s was consuming shit content. At
Oh
least for
yeah.
me, not being, I wasn't really exposed to like cool classics or anything, you know. I watched whatever was on cable, and so I just, you know, consumed like the worst possible shit. So it's like, oh yeah, I've seen Mall Cop more times than I'd like to admit. So I
Oh
like
yeah.
seeing people dissect it and you know, just make fun of it
Well, that
because
also
it's
like I have a,
awful.
oh, I know. But like I have a friend and he like we would go over to his house and like smoke a blunt and then just go chill in his like den and watch TV. And like more often than not, like if Jurassic Park and I don't know, I'm just trying to think of like what is like a good movie to watch. What's like sort of just like a middle of like I'm trying to think of like what sort of a middle of the road movie is. You got like Jurassic Park, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, and then like I don't know, one of these. I'm trying to think of one that's just like particularly horrible.
Oh
Like
God, like what genre?
of that 2000s like era comedy. Oh, what's the one where Adam Sandler and Paul Blart are married, or they have to pretend they're gay or something?
I I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, and
Yes.
it's funny you mentioned that one specifically because I went back and rewatched that movie like 6 months ago, and now
It
I
is
will.
awful, right?
It is so not PC, and it's
Oh
like
God.
how the fuck were they able to get away with that? I mean, I understand it was different times and we grew up where a lot of things weren't spoken about or PC, but it was I think my favorite part, like the great part about that movie is that he just answers the phone and he goes balls and wieners. So that's my
Oh
favorite part.
my God.
So like randomly throughout the day I'm like balls and wieners. Like that's the only part that like stuck through and held out in 2021.
Oh, that's so bad. But we would inevitably wind up watching that fucking movie and be like, can we please just like watch Jurassic Park? And it's like, no, Jurassic, it's like, that's too good to watch right now. We've seen it too many times. Plus, you need to see this part. Like, okay, how about Nightmare on Elm Street 4? Like, it's bad, but at least we can make fun of it. It's like, nope, we're going to watch. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Oh,
Oh man.
so many
And
terrible movies.
it's crazy to think like, you know, the movies that were targeted towards like girls too, like teenage girls. And I watched this movie, I don't know if you ever saw it, it's Monster in Law, and Jennifer Lopez was in it. And
Jennifer
I had
Lopez versus Jane Fonda.
yes. And like they just go back and forth bickering throughout the whole movie and it's like, dude, I've probably seen that movie like 40 fucking times. I or just Bridesmaids, like just
Well, I've
all
seen
these like wedding
Bridesmaids.
movies. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones,
I will
but
tell you, like, hands down, like, maybe one of the worst movies that came out during that time was, and actually, that's a good segue to the this other segment was this fucking movie called Henry Poole is Here, starring Luke Wilson. So you know you're already in like troubled waters when you have the lesser of the Wilson brothers. And it's basically like about this guy, this like fucking depressed middle-aged guy who just like moves back to LA or some shit like that. and he's just like, oh, he has no direction in life or whatever. And he has this like weird water stain on his wall that looks like Jesus Christ. And people just become like obsessed with it. And it's like all these people come over and they want to know all about it. And then he like, I don't know, it's so fucking stupid. And then he like, I don't know, he has cancer or something. I think that's what it is. He has cancer, and then he just like, you know, has like I don't want anybody in my life anymore. And he like destroys the wall of his house with the Jesus thing, and then it collapses on top of him. So they take him to the hospital, and they're just like, Henry, the cancer is gone because of Jesus or something. It's so bad. Like, I saw it with my parents because we just figured, oh, it's like a cute little funny indie movie. And it was just like the opposite of funny. It's awful. It's awful. It's one of the worst fucking movies. Like, I have yet to see a movie that features religion as like its like main driving thing that isn't satirical, where it's like actually good. Like, they just do not work. And I'm saying that because I watched the fucking... Who's that? Oh my God, what's his name? He's the super religious guy. Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas. Oof. Do not watch that.
What?
It's just...
When did that come out?
Not too long ago, unfortunately, but it came out in 2014, and it's just like this incredibly like hyper conservative, like just reassessment of like what Christmas is all about. And like he's just like dunking on the druids and the pagans the whole time, and then, you know, it just turns into like right-wing propaganda basically. It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I have to piss myself off and watch that.
Look, I mean, I don't know if you drink. It's not a bad idea to do so. If you smoke weed or do edibles, I would highly recommend it. Like, I was just like the whole time, just like, I need another joint.
Dude, I didn't even know that existed. I'm definitely gonna have to watch that. I wish I knew, like, you know, a couple months ago around Christmas, just to get in the spirit.
It took all the Christmas spirit out for me.
That dude's a psychopath.
Oh yeah, he sucks. He's awful. But speaking of Jesus, introducing a new segment to the Patreon here. Okay, what's your familiarity with the band Skillet? If any?
I mean, I listened to them quite a bit in like middle school.
Okay,
Why?
I've never listened to this band, but back at the end of January, okay, so for anybody that doesn't know who Skillet is, the basic gist for them is, and by like anybody that's familiar, that includes myself, because I really just was never interested in them. They were never in my wheelhouse, but they're a Christian rock or metal band, you know, from Memphis, Tennessee, that started out as, I guess, a shitty Nine Inch Nails clone and then turned into a shitty Linkin Park clone. And sadly, Skillet has managed to outlive Linkin Park. And half of the band consists of founder John Cooper and his wife, Corey. My only real exposure to this band was I was in a cab going from the airport in North Carolina, I believe, to a hotel to meet up with some friends for a music festival. And the cab driver was just like, so where y'all going? And, you know, he's just got like this fucking insanely thick accent. Like, you think he's putting it on, but like, he's like, talk like this. Like, and I told him, oh, I'm going to this festival, whatever. He's like, oh, you know, I dabble in with a bit of the metal here and there. And I said, oh, you like Iron, you know, like Iron Maiden? And he's like, you know, he kind of like poo-poos Iron Maiden a little bit. And he's like, I tell you what band I'm really into though is Skillet. And he said Skillet like it was one word. Skillet. So I was like, oh yeah, I don't really know anything about them.
Did he play them for you?
He did not. This was well before the time of like, you know, Spotify and shit like that. I mean, I guess Spotify was around, but it wasn't like you could just like bring it up. He just like did it, you know. This was maybe my like second or third Uber, you know what I mean? So it was back like when Uber was kind of wild, you know what I mean?
You just had to talk to them.
Yeah, exactly. And he was a Southern dude. He's just like, I'm gonna talk to you anyway. So, but anyway, this segment exists because at the end of January, I saw this headline on Instagram that read, "Skillet's frontman says rock music belongs to God and has nothing to do with the devil." And I was like, okay.
Well, they're a Christian band, right?
Right. And I get it. I know there's that whole devil and God, battle going on in the world of Christianity. But it's just kind of a funny thing to say, considering just all of the imagery that's associated with heavy metal, and also just how much of it is just kind of a joke. It's sort of just like a performative thing, but this dude's all fucking serious and whatnot. I didn't even read the article because I think everything that needs to be said about it is right there. And my friend John, who will be appearing on an April episode of this podcast, responded with, "Why the fuck are people asking Skillet about anything?" So he directed me towards a song called "The Thirst Is Taking Over," which he said sounds like they want to fuck God. So what I thought it would be fun to do is listen to it on the podcast, because one, this band is unintentionally hilarious, and two, I've literally never listened to them before. So to go in blind, I thought it would be pretty funny. And I figured we could listen to the song once through, and then we can go back and read some of our favorite lyrics, and then we'll give it a rating out of 5 weeping Jesuses.
Okay, I'm totally down.
So, and I mean, this is great. You're in the Satanic Temple, and you should have all kinds of insight on this.
I'm sure. What was the front man's name?
His name is John Cooper.
John Cooper.
So
yeah.
He unfortunately shares a name from my family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My mother's maiden name.
I would like to see what he. I would like to hear the song, because, like I said, in middle school, I was into just the popular rock bands at the time, and I would listen to 3 Days Grace and
oh my god, 3 Days Grace.
Yeah, I listened to those bands and stuff. I was heavy into Shinedown. I don't know if I recognize that song, but now I have to listen to it.
Well, just before I share the song, just so you have perspective, this is what the guy looks like. Not this ad. Just this guy's very serious.
He's very serious because he made a shitload of money off of his Christian band.
I don't know. This picture's kind of hilarious. He's just very much in front of he's like, "Yo, you gonna fight me and my Christian friends and my wife?"
Which one is his wife? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me see if there's a.
I guess it would be kind of fucked up if he, threw her in the back behind him.
Let me see if I can figure out which one is his wife. Okay, she does not have a Wikipedia page, but he does. I don't know. I can't
That's
tell.
fine.
I can't tell which one she is. Wait, she's the one that has a bunch of tattoos on her. Okay, so it's the one on the left with the black hair. God, she looks freaky. She's like,
that's Jesus's doing.
She's like, "I can see the lack of Jesus in your soul. You don't have one."
Also,
right.
Isn't tattoos taboo?
Go figure. All right, all right, so we're going to listen to the song. We're not going to include it because I don't want to make everybody listen to that. And then we'll regroup after that. So luckily they had a lyrics version. So here we go.
Sweet.
Oh boy. I like that this guy, Aragorn PK10, gave himself a production. What is this like background sound?
I don't know. I was like, is that like the sound because you're playing it?
I feel like this is the beginning of a porno.
Dude, that high note's bad.
Oh my god.
I need to taste it deep in the Savior's arms.
Oh my god.
I wanna taste it.
This is so bad. Yeah, let's hear the chorus 15 times.
Oh, we got some echo.
I wanna taste it. I need to taste it.
Are you really gonna close on acapella?
Savior's arms. I wanna taste it.
Wow.
I need to taste it.
Holy fuck!
Deep in the Savior's arms.
Dude,
Wow.
I want somebody to compile, like, I want someone to do like a 10-hour comp of like a loop of him just doing the acapella part at the end.
Oh my god. Just like I have a lot of thoughts. Wow, that was something.
Can I just say, without giving it away, if this is about taking blood of Jesus, he sure makes it sound like a different body fluid.
Definitely a body fluid that's a little more white in color. Oh my god, just like, first of all, this song definitely, like, before it gets into like deeper into the unintentional, we'll call it eroticism, it definitely just sounds like he's a vampire.
Do you know how bad that dude wants to be Trent Reznor?
So badly. This guy wants to be Trent Reznor so badly. And he wants to be like all the other goth singers and shit. And oh man, like, dude, how many, this song, like, there's so much like every single, like, there's like 3 choruses that are
Dude,
repeated.
I was gonna say, you really only need the first run through to learn all the lyrics.
Like, like, I know people like get down on fucking doom songs and stoner metal songs for being long and repetitive, but like, I feel like it's at least like kind of fun to listen to. This is like, seriously, I mean, this music builds up with this weird synthesizer that just kind of, to me, sounds like it's softcore pornography, and then maybe like music, and then I guess the riffs aren't like horrible, the guitar work, but I mean, like right off the bat, hold me down, drip it on my tongue, and my convulsions stop. Thirst for love, thirst for your love. I could swallow your beauty whole. Are you singing about Jesus, man?
That line was the one that stuck with me, is I want to swallow your beauty whole, and I was like, I don't know, man. You could easily make beauty sound, like booty. So I know that's like me thinking like a 12-year-old boy, but I don't think he was talking about Jesus or blood.
Yeah, I gotta wonder like how serious this dude actually is. But he seems pretty serious. I mean, I know he's got like a stupid podcast where he like says a bunch of dumb bullshit, but he's also got a bunch of songs where he says a bunch of dumb bullshit. That was fucking hilarious. I loved how many times he said, I want to taste it. I need to taste it. Like,
Oh, you You mean half of the song? The half
Yes,
of the 7
half
minute
of the
song?
song is just that repeated over and over and over and over again.
He sounds like a fucking simp.
He probably is.
It's like,
Well,
dude, if you need a
no, go ahead, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, if you need a dom, like, there's other ways of asking for one.
And then like also this song is just like I said, it's 6.5 minutes, and then just like his wife pops up in the middle of it, and she's just I think she's like, I wanna drink you in, I am drinking you in, and then she says I wanna, and I'm like, but you just said you were, so
This is where it starts to sound like a porno.
yeah, this song sucks.
I don't know if I want to say thank you for showing me that, or like, I wish you didn't.
Are they gonna say, "All right, wish you death"?
Dude, that was brutal.
What would you, out of 5 weeping Jesuses, what would you give this?
Weeping Jesuses?
Yeah, I'm inclined to give it 1, but I feel like there could be like a worse Skillet song out there than this.
So by weeping Jesuses, what exactly do you mean? Like, can you explain what a 5 would be?
Like it would just like out of like 5 stars, but you just like change the star to something like weird.
Okay, so
related. We don't have to do it out of
lower.
weeping Jesuses. We could do it we could literally call it anything. We could rank it.
When you said weeping Jesuses, it made me think like, this is God crying from above because this is so bad.
Yes, exactly. So, that's kind of what I was going for.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 2 because I think there's got to be something out there, like you said, that's worse.
Yeah, and I mean, this song did make me laugh, but like definitely low ranking for like just the brazen nature of like, oh, okay.
I mean, for a band that has a shitload of money, they did not pay for production in that. That sounded terrible.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds shaky, and he sounds like he's gonna either cry or ejaculate at the end of it.
or maybe that he does cry when he ejaculates.
Yeah, maybe he's lucky in that sense.
Just like it's just like, oh man, someone stepped on a parrot.
I just picture him in like his own sex dungeon when he made that song.
Ooh man, he's probably. Oh man, no, they're hardcore Christians, so like they probably actually move very slowly. Like they try to like recreate like movie style like sex scenes. So they probably do that, and they're like, oh, I bet you that's what they do.
I want to taste that. Well, thank you for showing me that.
They should like sample that and just like put that over a commercial for like KFC or something like that. Like, I want to taste it. I need to taste it deep in the Colonel's arms.
Deep in the Colonel's arms. Oh my god.
All right, well that's enough Skillet for today. And there'll be more. I think this will be fun to just check this band out and see what Skillet's all about. Thank you for coming back on. This was a lot of fun. Where can people find you if they're so inclined to do so?
I have an Instagram and I'm actually on TikTok. And they're both Caius My Ass.
As in Caius, like the band, and then My Ass as in your
My
ass.
Yeah, I've had a joke for a while that like, it sounds like Caius I wanted it to sound like kiss my ass. So you could totally edit that part out, but because I had to mansplain it to you.
No, I mean that's fine. I'm sure there's somebody out there that needed to be explained. Be like, oh, I get it.
But yeah, I'm on Instagram, TikTok. That's where I shit post and consume music content. So
Yeah, if you want A+ shit posting and TikToks, highly recommend.
thank you.
I kill us miles.
At kiss my ass.
Awesome. And if you want to follow Diary of Doom, it's Diary of Doom on Instagram, Facebook. We're still on Spotify because we don't really matter in the long run, unlike other people on that platform. But we're still there, and Apple, and you can support it directly on diaryofdoom.podbean.com. Go to the website diaryofdoom.com. There's pictures and shit there. Did I say the Patreon? I don't know. Patreon.com/Diary of Doom. More episodes to come. And I think that's it. Still have some shirts on Bandcamp if you want a shirt. And I don't know. Stay tuned, and we'll be doing a lot more drug themed content. Oh, God, I hate that word. I don't want to say that again. I'm taking that back. We'll be doing a lot more drug themed shit in April. So for all you fucking potheads out there, hope you're ready to make a return to the killer bong.
The evil bong.
But in the meantime, that'll do it for this chapter of the diary.
Thanks for having me.